Right friends, welcome back to Learning Space. This is a revision series, 37th module, Science and Technology, 4th module. Number of important issues we are going to deliberate. The first one is far out. Friends, this is 140 astronomical units from the sun. Please don't forget what is 1 astronomical unit. 1 astronomical unit is nothing but the distance between Earth and Sun. It is around 150 million kilometers. So friends, 1 astronomical unit is the distance between Earth and Sun, and 140 astronomical units from the Sun. That means far out is the object, or you can say the most distant object in the solar system, which is 140 astronomical units distance from the Sun. But one important aspect is it is yet to be officially confirmed and it is yet to be peer reviewed. But prior to this news report, there was one news report that far out was the most distant known object in our solar system. This was confirmed in December. But now, as per the news reports, this far out is 140 astronomical units. Friends, this is yet to be confirmed. So, if you look at far out, it is 120 astronomical units from the Sun, and as per the unconfirmed news reports, this far out is the most distant object in the solar system, but it is yet to be confirmed by the scientific community. This is the important point, please don't forget, right? And let us look at the next one. This is most important news item. Canine distemper virus, this is in focus, and this is considered as the reason for the death of number of Asiatic lions in Gir Forest National Park in recent times, right? Sometime back, Supreme Court stated, please shift some of the Asiatic lions from Gir to Palpur Kuno Sanctuary, but Gujarat government not agreed. And from your exam perspective, Palpur Kuno Sanctuary is in Madhya Pradesh, don't forget. Friends, at present, that means during 2018, number of lions deaths occurred in this Gir Forest National Park, and the mutation in the virus could have caused deaths. We are talking about canine distemper virus, or CDV. This is important from your exam perspective. In fact, around 25 years ago, canine distemper virus was responsible for the epidemic in the Serengeti region of Africa, where 1,000 lions were died in few weeks, right? Let us look at the discussion. Canine distemper virus, it is a virus. Second point is, this is the disease that is frequent in dogs, foxes, owls. So this is very important. This is in fact frequent in dogs, and this belongs to the family of viruses that cause measles, mumps, as well as bronchiolitis in humans. And one more important aspect is it infects the spinal cord and brain, and fatality rate is 50% in dogs, right friends? Vaccine is available. So 3-4 important points, don't forget about canine distemper virus. Canine distemper virus 25 years ago decimated around 1,000 lions in Africa, that is Serengeti region of Africa. Second point, it is predominantly in dogs, foxes. It is a virus. Next point is there is vaccine available, right? These are the important points. And this CDV is transmitted by airborne route as well as by the infected body secretions, right? This is all about canine distemper virus, because of which some of the Asiatic lions were killed. And here if you look at the death of the lions in Gir, at present the lion population in the Gir area, or you can say greater Gir area, is around 500 to 600, and most scientific studies say Gir can host about 300 lions, and Gujarat government is not agreeing for shifting some of the Asiatic lions. Please don't forget, IUCN classification is endangered, right? So there are number of deaths occurred, around 180 lions died in Gir for the past 2 years, right? So please have a glance at it. And Supreme Court advised to shift some of the lines, because all the lines in one protected area, that may not be a wise thing, right? Then canine distemper virus, it is contagious, serious disease caused by a virus. We have already seen primarily the dogs, foxes are affected. This is about canine distemper virus. And at the same time, another thing, please don't forget, this may be important from your exam perspective. Other one is babesiosis. It is caused by microscopic parasites that infect red blood cells, and it is caused by certain ticks, please don't forget. So friends, recently the death of lions is primarily because of canine distemper virus, and in this context this is also into the news, that is babesiosis that affects red blood cells, and it is transmitted through ticks, right? And at the same time, this is goat plague, please don't forget. It may not be that important now from your exam perspective, right? And as I have already told you, there was a proposal to shift some of the Asiatic lions to Kunopalpur Wildlife Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh, but Gujarat government is not agreeing, right? This may be potential question from your exam perspective, right friends? Researchers in United States of America, they scaled up a new low-cost system that provides efficient cooling for the homes. What we are talking about? We are talking about glass microspheres, right? So it is made up of, that means the material which keeps cool inside. Why it keeps cool? Because of the reason it reflects back almost all the incoming light from the sun. So the surface, it reflects almost the entire incoming radiation from the sun, that is in fact reflected back. So friends, the material we are talking about is this glass microspheres. So these are embedded into a polymer film with a thin silver coating, right? It is just 50 micrometers thick, slightly thicker than aluminum foil, and here this can be manufactured on rolls. So therefore this can be easily applied on residential and commercial installations. So this is called cooling metamaterial. Friends, this cooling metamaterial is made up of glass microspheres, right? So this is one important development in recent times. Then in a directive issued to all the states and union territories, the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, it stopped the manufacture, sale, distribution, import, trade and advertisement of electronic nicotine delivery systems, right? So e-cigarettes is one of the electronic nicotine delivery systems. There is divided opinion with regard to e-cigarettes across the globe, and in this context students should have clarity about what is the difference between ordinary cigarettes and e-cigarettes, right? So two things I would like to tell you. Union government issued directive to all the states and union territories to ban e-cigarettes, or you can say electronic nicotine delivery systems. At the same time, it is also in favor of banning the import of e-cigarettes. But the Ministry of Commerce said to ban the e-cigarettes, to ban the import of e-cigarettes, then it requires a law to be framed. So the Ministry of Commerce expressed its inability to ban the import of e-cigarettes, right? And several studies found that ENDS leads to initiation of smoking dependence, right friends? There is divided opinion with regard to electronic nicotine delivery systems. So in electronic nicotine delivery systems, instead of tobacco, nicotine is used in a chemical form. Please don't forget, nicotine is used in a chemical form, and cigarette contains around 4 to 6 milligrams of nicotine, but this ENDS, or you can say e-cigarettes, sometimes contain more nicotine in liquid form. Friends, e-cigarettes are nothing but this liquid form of nicotine is vaporized with high temperature. That means aerosol is created with high temperature. So that is nothing but e-cigarettes. It contains nicotine, right? And it gives the kick. When somebody is smoking the real cigarettes, there are other chemicals which affect the body. So therefore, as an alternative to the regular smoking, this electronic cigarettes came to the forefront. But the opinion is divided, right? What is nicotine? Nicotine constitutes approximately 0.6 to 3% of the dry weight of tobacco. Nicotine itself is not cancerous. First and the foremost point, nicotine itself is not cancerous, and by keeping smokers addicted in the long term, nicotine in fact exposes them to nearly 7,000 chemicals. So that is the reason why smoking is dangerous. In fact, in tobacco, this nicotine is there. Nicotine itself is not cancerous, but when people are smoking more number of cigarettes, then what happens? Two things happen. They are exposed to other chemicals which spoil our health. Second important aspect is, when more and more nicotine in the body means it is addictive. It is some sort of addiction, you can say. Friends, so nicotine is highly addictive and the substance acts as a stimulant. That is one important aspect, and high amounts can be harmful. So nicotine's addictive nature includes this psychoactive effects. Friends, we have seen about nicotine. The cigarette smoking, through the cigarette smoking, people get nicotine. Nicotine acts as the stimulant. It is giving the kick, and at the same time, through the cigarettes, we inhale number of other chemicals. They are more dangerous, and nicotine itself is not cancerous. So the electronic cigarettes or e-cigarettes, they contain nicotine, right? So what is the exact mechanism of e-cigarettes? Here they heat a liquid to generate a nicotine containing aerosol instead of burning the tobacco, right? And they do not produce toxic tars. But the problem is very important, why some people are not in favor of e-cigarettes. I already told you the problems associated with regular cigarettes. The problem associated with regular tobacco usage is, through the cigarettes you inhale number of chemicals, and because of that health will be spoiled. Though nicotine is not cancerous on its own, but other chemicals in the tobacco, they cause the problem. That is the real problem with regard to the regular cigarettes made up of tobacco. In e-cigarettes, if you see, here also nicotine is there, and sometimes the nicotine in the e-cigarettes is higher than those of the normal cigarettes, and the most important aspect is at high temperatures, because here in the liquid form nicotine that is converted into this aerosol at high temperature, and here e-cigarettes produce carcinogens such as formaldehydes. Friends, please recollect, sometime back we learned there are traces of formaldehydes in the Johnson & Johnson shampoo packets. Of course, Johnson & Johnson denied it, but there was a news report that Johnson & Johnson shampoo packets contained formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is cancerous. So this is the opinion of one section of people across the globe, right? I explained you the features of e-cigarettes, the features of tobacco, why they are dangerous, and one section feels e-cigarettes are dangerous because they are at high temperatures. What happens? E-cigarettes produce carcinogens such as formaldehydes, right? Although these are fewer in number compared to regular cigarettes. I hope you got the point, right? Let us leave that discussion here and let us move on to the next one. Candida auris, right? This is in fact shaking the world now, right? It is causing big concern across various countries, including developed countries. Why the world is fearing about Candida auris, right? And because it is developing resistance to antifungal drugs. It already developed resistance to 3 antifungal drugs. Friends, Candida auris is the fungal infection. It developed resistance to 3 antifungal drugs already. Third important aspect is hospital hygiene is very important. In the hospital, the equipment, the linen, the beds, everything must be cleaned properly. Otherwise, there is every chance the patients admitted as inpatient, there is every possibility they may get this Candida auris, right? So here, this is Candida auris. This is in fact causing alarm across various countries. And one important aspect is this is resistant to multiple antifungal drugs. This is C. auris or Candida auris, don't forget, right? Here, in fact, it was there for around a decade and it was identified in 2009 from the East, isolated from a Japanese patient. And what is yeast? Yeast is nothing but single-celled microorganisms, and they are from the family of kingdom fungi, or broadly you can remember this Candida auris is the fungal infection, and it is there for around a decade, and India identified this in 2013. The problem is there in India also, please don't forget. And the biggest problem is here, it is difficult to identify with the standard laboratory methods. As it is difficult to identify through the standard laboratory methods, initially what people are doing, people are using some drugs, and because of that it is developing resistance. It already developed resistance to 3 antifungal drugs, right? Hospital environment is the main area of concern. Hospital hygiene is most important for Candida auris. Precautions are to be taken, right? So here all equipment should be cleaned every day in accordance with the clinical standards, right friends? This is about Candida auris. And TikTok ban, please don't forget, this is the mobile app developed by China. That means the firm is of China. ByteDance Technologies developed this TikTok, but it is banned recently through the Madras High Court order because there are news reports that it is showing inappropriate content. And at the same time, please don't forget, various comments are there with regard to PUBG, right? These may not be that important from your exam perspective. Let us move on. CSIR develops less polluting firecrackers named Swass, Suffle and Star. Friends, with regard to the green crackers, approval is yet to be given, right? And not many details are available with regard to green crackers. And you may have a doubt, what is the approving authority? Approving authority is this PESO, Petroleum and Explosives Safety Organization, right? This is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It is headquartered in Nagpur, please don't forget. So friends, for approving the green crackers, the approving authority is Nagpur based Petroleum Explosives Safety Organization, don't forget. And green crackers, they are yet to be approved, right? And here these are 15 to 20% cheaper than conventional ones as per the available news reports. And Swass, Suffle and Star, these names are there as per the available news reports. Swass means safe water and air sprinklers. Second, Suffle, that is a safe minimum aluminium. Star, safe thermite cracker. And for the first time in our country, an emission testing facility is established at CSIR Neeri, please don't forget. And friends, what is the mechanism? They have a unique property of releasing water vapor, and here a green cracker, what happens? Here a reactant such as aluminium that absorbs water and generates lot of heat and which enables the explosion. Then the same water will act as dust suppressant. This is the mechanism. Please read these two statements at a time. Friends, SWAS, this eliminates potassium nitrate and sulfur, and because of that what happens? The particulate matter will be reduced by 30 to 35%. And if you look at the star, that eliminates potassium nitrate and sulfur, because of that particulate matter will be reduced by 35 to 40%. Right friends, this is about this green crackers. Please don't forget electric crackers, E-LADY, right? One example is E-LADY. This is based on high voltage electrostatic discharge. High voltage electrostatic discharge that is used to generate light or sound effect. It is triggered by providing heat to the thermal switch. Right friends, this is the mechanism of electric crackers. Please don't forget. Let us move on to the next one, bomb cyclone, right? So bomb cyclone, this is into the news, United States of America, please don't forget. And here this is a non-tropical storm, very important. It is a non-tropical storm, or you can say when there is a sudden pressure drop, right? So this bomb cyclone, there is a specific definition. That means before understanding it, you have to understand this bombogenesis. Bombogenesis means when a non-tropical storm experiences at least 24 millibar drop in the barometric pressure within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, if the barometric pressure drops by 24 millibar, then it is considered as bomb cyclone. How this occurs? How the pressure drop occurs? Pressure drop occurs because of the reason warm air coming from the ocean and the water bodies and the cold air above the land, when they collide, that results in drop in the atmospheric pressure. Friends, when the warm air is coming from the water bodies and when that collides with the cold air, then sudden drop in the pressure, that is 24 millibars drop in the pressure in 24 hours occurs, that is bomb cyclone. And because of the drop in the pressure, what happens? This type of blistered conditions occur, right? So these are the blistered conditions. So this occurred in the US Great Plains. Please don't forget. Please do not forget the meaning of the word bombogenesis. Let us move on. NASA spacecraft designed to bring a small sample, asteroid Bennu, right? And please don't forget, here this is the initiative of NASA. When people are talking about NASA, there are number of experiments of NASA. Please don't forget, it is probing the quakes on Mars. Please don't forget, there is an experiment of NASA going on for probing the quakes on Mars. And at the same time, the farthest flyby, recently we have studied, that is Ultima Thule. Please recollect Ultima Thule. Ultima Thule is the farthest flyby in the history. That is the second aspect. Third aspect is OSIRIS-REx. This is to basically examine the asteroid Bennu. And a short while from now, we are going to deliberate on Parker Solar Probe. That is also of NASA. We are going to deliberate on that a short while from now. Friends, there is a logic why asteroid Bennu is selected, but that may not be important from your exam perspective. Please don't forget asteroid Bennu. This is the initiative of NASA, or you can say exploring asteroid Bennu is the initiative of NASA. It will survey its surface and collect the sample and will come back to the earth safely, right friends? This is OSIRIS-REx, This is the experiment of NASA, please don't forget, right? And it may hold clues to the origins of life on Earth, right? It found traces of hydrogen and oxygen molecules on this carbonaceous asteroid, right friends? Let us move on to the next one. Spurious Sulai, this is the country spirit, and this claimed the lives recently in the tea gardens of Assam. In this context, 2-3 points are very important. How this traditional Sulai is prepared. Basically, it is prepared by fermenting molasses, and it breaks down to ethyl alcohol or ethanol and carbon dioxide at a controlled temperature. So, a process of distillation over firewood that gives this liquor with alcohol content of up to 45%. So, please don't forget, it breaks down, that means molasses is broken down through the process distillation over the firewood into this ethyl alcohol. And what is done recently is there is more demand for this, right? And under those circumstances, what they have done is they have used this methanol. Because of methanol, lot many lives were lost, right? So methanol is dangerous, right? So here this is the alcohol that provides the same kick, but higher doses of methanol that may lead to organ failures, right? So instead of the naturally producing ethyl alcohol, methanol was used, right? Methanol was artificially mixed. That resulted in loss of lives. Friends, cheat devices are used, right? Across the countries, there is probe going on with regard to cheat devices. National Green Tribunal slapped a fine of 500 crore rupees on Volkswagen for damaging the environment, right friends? This is the development of software. Software is designed in such a way when the vehicle is in fact checked for pollution, it shows less emissions. It shows less emissions. But when it is actually traveling on the road, the actual emissions are higher. So these are known as cheat devices. By using the cheat devices, that is nothing but mischievous software. Software is designed in such a way when the vehicle is tested for the emissions, then what happens here? It shows lesser emissions, right? Actually the emissions will be more. Friends, Parker Solar Probe, right? We discussed about OSIRIS-REx, the expedition to Ultima Thule. Now this is most important from NASA's perspective. Parker Solar Probe, there are number of aspects pertaining to Parker Solar Probe. In fact, here it launched the mission and to send a satellite closer to Sun than ever before. Friends, what is the distance between Earth and Sun? The distance between Earth and Sun is around 150 million kilometers, and this goes close to 6 million kilometers. So this Parker Solar Probe by NASA is the probe which goes closest to the Sun. When it goes closest to the Sun, the temperatures will be very, very high. It has to, in fact, look at, or you can say it has to withstand around 1300 degrees centigrade. Friends, the most important aspect is the design of the heat shield to take care of such high temperatures, right? And it is going to become the fastest moving man-made object in history. Friends, please don't forget about Parker Solar Probe. First point, NASA initiative. Second point, it is going closest to the Sun ever in the history. Third is, it is the fastest moving man-made object in history. Then it is the first spacecraft to be named after a living person, right? 150 million kilometers is the distance, and it goes to around 6 million kilometers. The sun will be away by only 6 million kilometers. That means it goes so closer, right? And here two important points, please don't forget. All of you are familiar. Here this corona. Corona is nothing but atmosphere of the sun. Atmosphere of the sun has got temperature going up to 2 million degrees Celsius, right? So the atmosphere of the sun, which is known as corona, the temperature goes up to 2 million degrees Celsius, whereas the surface of the sun, all of you are familiar, surface of the sun is photosphere. The temperature is around 5500 degrees Celsius. What is this mystery? The surface temperature is abysmally low in comparison to the atmosphere temperature of the sun. What is this mystery? And this experiment is going to throw some light on this. Second one is, sun occasionally emits high energy particles, and here what about these high energy particles? So these mysteries are going to be unraveled through this Parker Solar Probe, right? And it is the closest mission to reach the sun. It will go close to 6 million kilometers, and it has to develop this heat shield at around 1300 degrees Celsius. That means it is to in fact take care of or to protect itself from around 1300 degrees Celsius. Friends, this is about Parker Solar Probe, and it is most important because it is to study the physics of corona. Corona is the place, corona is nothing but the atmosphere of the sun. Corona is the place where much of the important activity that affects the earth seems to originate. Remaining two things I already told you. It is going close to 6 million kilometers, and at the same time it is the fastest man-made object. So these are the important aspects when one looks at Parker Solar Probe. Please do not forget, right? Let us leave this discussion here. Here another important aspect is other missions of NASA. We have already seen, and I already told you, one is InSight Mars lander, as we have already discussed, that is to look at the Mars environment and in fact to look at the quakes on Mars. This InSight, this is the initiative of NASA, please don't forget. And at the same time Osiris Rex, we discussed a short while ago, and please don't forget Ultima Thule, I already told you, right? So these are important aspects when one looks at NASA. Right friends, let us move on. Researchers developed zinc ferrite coated magnetic nanomotors. Friends, if this becomes successful, cancer treatment will become very, very easy. These nanomotors, they can generate localized heating to kill the cancer cells. Cancer may be there deep inside the body, and these nanomotors, they can go right up to that, and the temperature can be increased up to 7 to 8 degrees Celsius to kill the cancerous cells locally. Right friends, these nanomotors, these can be injected directly into the tumor, that means directly into the cancer cell, and we can guide them to the area by using magnetic fields. Right friends, here the temperature can be raised by 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. So therefore, if somebody is talking about this nanomotors, please don't forget, they will be highly beneficial in the cancer treatment, don't forget, right? And with regard to the material, I have mentioned here silicon dioxide, that is the backbone of this nanomotors, and magnetic material is deposited on top of it. Right friends, let us leave this discussion here. And scientists from University of Minnesota, they discovered this ruthenium. Please don't forget, already 3 elements with magnetic properties at the room temperature, all of you are familiar. One is this iron, second one is cobalt, third one is nickel. and at room temperature. Now the scientists from University of Minnesota found that ruthenium is the fourth element to have unique magnetic properties at the room temperature. Right friends, before concluding today's discussion, please have a glance at it. The periodic table is now 150-year-old, right? It was written by Mendeleev on 17th February 1869, right? So this is all about this. United Nations General Assembly and UNESCO decided to celebrate 2019 as the International Year of Periodic Table of Chemical Elements. So friends, periodic table of chemical elements that completed 150 years, and this is the initiative of Mendeleev, Russian scientist, or you can say Russian chemist. With this, let us conclude this discussion of science and technology. Have a nice day. Thank you.